In terms of the SACWA definition, RPL is a process through which formal, non-formal, and informal learning are measured and mediated for recognition across the different contexts and certified against the requirements for credit, access, inclusion, or advancement in the formal education and training system or in the workplace. The aim is to make it possible to obtain a formal recognition for the knowledge gained through your work life, such as knowledge from the workplace, your own reading, or your own experiences in general. The RPL process also entails providing support to a candidate to ensure that the knowledge is discovered and displayed in terms of the relevant qualification registered on the NQF, or the National Qualification Framework. Candidates deserve credit or acknowledgement for their competencies, skills, and knowledge, even if these have been gained through informal education or have been acquired in the course of their working lives or in participation in a society and community activities outside formal learning processes. If you served as a church treasurer, for example, you would have gained lots of experience in managing the books for the particular church. If you were the minute taker at the church, that's an experience you would have acquired. Hence, it's experience gained in a whole range of sources. So no learning and skills can't be measured. Candidates might seek RPL for various reasons. However, there are two main forms of RPL which reflect the different purposes and different processes within which RPL takes place. So we look at two special ones. So it's RPL for access and RPL for credit. So what does this mean? Let's look at these 2 points in a little more detail, as their needs are different. RPL for access. This provides an alternative access route into a program for a program of learning or a qualification. And it's designed for people who do not meet the formal entry requirements for a qualification. They believe they have the knowledge, skills, or experience to be able to cope with a particular qualification or part qualification. Hence, they would use RPL to show that they are eligible to study for this particular qualification and they will be successful at it. So RPL, therefore, is used to have access into a particular qualification. RPL for access may be conducted against the assessment criteria of the relevant knowledge and practical skills models as specified in the associated curriculum for the related qualifications. Workplaces may also conduct RPL processes to determine workplace competence for the work experience modules as specified in the associated curriculum for the related qualification. RPL for credit. RPL for credit provides for the formal award of credits for or towards a qualification or part qualification registered on the NQF. RPL for credit may only be conducted against the assessment specifications for the relevant qualification or part qualifications. Candidates requiring RPL for credit must undergo an ISA conducted at a QCTO accredited assessment center and normally would be required to go through an RPL process at IQ as a training provider for access first. So they will come to IQ, do the requirements that makes them legible for the ISA. So RPL can be used for credit to write the final ISA. So what are the steps involved? Step 1, it's explaining the RPL process. Information is provided to help candidates understand what RPL is and the process to be followed. The aim is to help candidates determine whether RPL services offered are relevant and appropriate to their needs. The information at IQ is clearly written and shows how each step in the RPL process as it relates to you and your study. IQ explains what is available in print or in electronic form. It states the cost and timelines required, the roles and the responsibilities of IQ and who is responsible for this, what occupations and qualifications for which the RPL services are provided, and IQ also provides you with information of staff that can be contacted to begin the process of RPL. So it's a holistic. The candidates need to provide a self-assessment toolkit from IQ and an application form. They need to match their own knowledge, skills, and experience that are equal or similar to the occupational standards set criteria and learning outcomes. They need to reflect on and identify learning from experience and gather concrete evidence to support the RPL process. So we begin with the self-assessment where they start familiarizing themselves. What are the competencies they need to be measured against and what sort of experience and knowledge or skills they have to match those competencies. Step 2 is to provide information on the expected requirements and the self-assessment. Candidates need to compare their knowledge, skills, and experience to the requirements specified in the IQ toolkit based on the curriculum of the qualification or part qualification that the learner seeks. The aim is to help the candidate decide if they are eligible to proceed with an application for RPL, or if not, if there are significant gaps, the recommendation is to study those portions where the gaps have been identified.
Learners are provided with clear guidelines on requirements of evidence.
Step 3, evaluate application and self-assessment. The candidates need to submit an application for RPL and submit some documentation and proof of prior knowledge, skills, or experience. The aim is to help candidates prepare for the actual RPL assessment by identifying any gaps in relation to knowledge, skills, and experience. So what are the outcomes? IQ as a service provider will need to evaluate the self-assessment form and the evidence. They will need to conduct a verification interview to determine whether the applicant understood the content of the self-assessment and identify alternate qualifications or gaps, and from the gaps they will be able to develop a learning and development plan. So it could either be the qualification, there's a new start and the application wasn't competent and didn't quite understand it, or the qualification is achieved and that the learner can be fast-tracked to the achievement of the qualification because the evidence provided was in sync with what is needed, and therefore the learner can be fast-tracked to go into the ISA. Finishing school. This refers to the applicant being competent in most of the components and can complete a short self-study coaching and mentorship process before applying for the ISA. Finalization phase is the applicant is competent in all the competent areas and can apply for the ISA. If there are any gaps, arrangements are made to cover just those little bit to get them ready for the ISA itself.